So today I'm going to talk about Makerspace and the reading that we did this week and how to use it in your classroom. For question one, how can you use your students' interests, motivations, and social connections to develop knowledge about the subject? So as I was thinking, I realized that as an educator, I can focus on what my students are interested in, um, and kind of play off of that. And so I decided that I would choose things that they can relate to or that they can create, so that they can have a deeper knowledge across the curriculum. Students will thrive or prosper when given the opportunity to connect with what interests them and connect that interest to what we as teachers are trying to teach them. If a student feels like a topic personally relates to them, they will be more likely to engage with that topic. This is the same with adults as well. But by using an interest inventory and a types of learning assessment, such as to find out if the student is kinesthetic or auditory, that type of thing, um, as educators, we can create lessons that engage our students and interest them, and we can meet all modalities by doing so. Question two, how can you use the Makerspace concepts in the classroom to help you teach? And before I read these articles, I had already used this type of thing in my classroom, but I didn't realize it. Earlier this year, I unknowingly used it when I was teaching fractions to my fourth graders. I noticed that some of them really loved slime. They were super into it. As it says on the slide, they were bringing it to school, training it, and some of the kids were even trying to sell it to each other. But at the same time, I saw that they were struggling with equivalent fractions and relating fractions to each other. So I split my students up into groups and decided to make slime with them. So I gave them all the same slime recipe, but I switched the fraction. So for an example, if it was supposed to have a half a cup of glue, one recipe called for a half a cup, the other 2/4, the other 3/6 of a cup, and 4/8. Um, and so at the end of that activity, after everyone had their slime done, they all realized that they had the same amount. And so I kind of went on to explain that some fractions are equal to each other. And I showed when I made my own slime at the end of the lesson, I made three different batches. I used one with a half a cup of glue, one where I used 2/4 of a cup, and then one where I used um, 3/6 of a cup to show them how it all equaled the same amount. And it was really cool to see that connection be made with the students. The skills that I would want my learners to develop throughout the makerspace process would be to become independent thinkers and to develop independent critical creative thinking skills, and to be able to share those skills in a group setting uh, via collaboration. So I think that learners need this skill desperately because when they grow up and they join the workforce or they start college, they're going to be required to collaborate and work as a team. So I think it's important to learn that skill early on. What will I do for the kids that are amazing at making? Well, for those kids, I will be sure to praise their work. I will have a place to display their work in the classroom. I will make it a point to share their work with their families. And I will also have that student reflect on their amazing work by summarizing it in writing, or I would also give them the opportunity to present it to the class if they were comfortable doing that. And I would do this because I think it gives them an even deeper knowledge and a deeper understanding of what they're working with when they're able to present it to another person or to a group of people. And what would I do for the kids that think they're terrible at making? I would encourage them. I'm a big believer in the growth mindset, so I would uh, further implement the power of yet. I would tell them, well, maybe you're just not good at it yet, but you're getting there. Uh, I would tell them that they're not terrible, but that maybe they just need a little bit more practice. I would also consider pairing them with the student who does really well in the makerspace, or I could work with them one-on-one as well. Lastly, if that student's comfortable with it, and they feel confident in their work after I've worked with them or after another student has, I will display their work as proudly and as often as I do the students who are great at it, and I would do so in hopes of boosting their confidence. And the role of the teacher in the Makerspace classroom, uh, to me, what I understood from the reading was that we're supposed to be facilitators. We're not supposed to be teaching step-by-step instructions at the Makerspace. We're not supposed to be uh, doing it for them or doing it with them, having them copy our every move. We're supposed to take a step back and let them create and let them take ownership of their learning.